Today I want to talk about when the system works, how it really works. So as you know, I've had my beef with WSIB. The gist of it is, I was one of the people that fell through the cracks. They sent me to this awesome rehab facility for an assessment, and the assessment was a joke, and it was all contradictory or whatever, and they just, before I was even anywhere near ready, just closed my file and sent me back to work, and I was just awful, like in bad shape, and my poor employers had to tolerate my shit. And it was hard. It was hard on everybody, and especially on me, and I fell through the cracks. And in that, I had kind of a meltdown, and I was offered a chance to take a layoff. And at that point, WSIB jumped back on board and realized, okay, you know what, we missed something. And my case was reopened, and ever since then, it's been better. And I lost so much money. Like, there was 5 weeks I didn't get any payments, but I couldn't go back to work because they didn't even have time to get a place for me to go, you know? So, because I was too unwell to go back to my old location, they had to find me a place to go. So there was all these delays, and, you know, I got hurt December 2010. I went back to work November 2011, and I just got my check yesterday for the time that I wasn't working. So it's taken me this long to get stuff. So for those of you that are battling with WSIB, my advice would be to, you know, and people said this to me, it's going to take 2 years before things start to get resolved. And at the time, I thought, I can't do this for 2 years, but it actually does fly by. And when things start to get moving again, and a lot of that, like, I blame WSIB, but my doctors weren't exactly pushing hard either. And because what happens is the lawyers or whatever will tell you to just go back to work and you're going to crash and fall, and that's exactly what happened. Not fall, but I had a crash and burn situation for sure. And everything kind of got reopened again. And sometimes you have to go through that. But here's the thing that's ironic. So I went through all that stuff, and then just as it was looking like maybe I can't work at all, I started getting better. And I could have wrote it probably, but it was like, you know what? No, I'm feeling better, and I don't want to be on the same salary for the rest of my life. And, you know, I'm not even 40 and already living like an old lady. Like, I need to come back, man. Like, I need to... So once I was in that mind frame, WSIB became essential, like an essential service. They really helped me. You know, my work was worried about my safety being there because my health really, like, has deteriorated since my injury. I can do the job, but I'm just not well, and they were worried about me. And WSIB were right there to make everybody feel at ease. And then there were, you know, more outstanding issues. And like WSIB sent somebody to my work, and we had this big meeting and, you know, get everybody on the same page and air out stuff. Because what I learned, or am learning now, is it's hard for employers because they don't know what you're going to be like when you come back. And I'm not talking about your ability to do the job, right? It's more... Are you resentful? Like, in my case, I'm permanently disabled. Am I angry? Am I resentful? Am I looking to sue? Like, they don't know where I'm coming from. So every time I ask a question, especially in writing, everybody's like, you know, can get defensive or whatever. And by having WSIB mediate these discussions, all that's gone. You know, because everybody has somebody in their corner. And WSIB, like, the lady that came today is a return to work specialist. She was really, really nice. And we spoke first, and I got to tell her everything I was feeling and whatever before we went in there. And so we knew what we needed to cover. And then when she was there, she kept the conversation, you know, really productive, and kept it where it needed to be going, and was very solution oriented and really got everybody on the same page, which I think, you know, it's one thing to talk on email, but when you can do it face to face and clear stuff up, I think that's essential. to success in the workplace, because then everybody knows where everybody stands. And as long as everybody's on the same team, it's happy lala. But when you go back to work and everybody's scared of one another, you don't trust your HR, and HR is not trusting you, and then it's not even about the job anymore. It becomes this personal, or it can become a personal thing, and this is a common issue in the workplace. And having a WSIB return to work specialist can really, really take a lot. Like, I wish this was done when I first went back to work. You know what I mean? I wish a return to work specialist would have seen me then, because they would have sent me right home. But I guess, they told me today I have to move on from all of that stuff, but I'm so angry. But yeah, so now, I'm still advocating. I'm permanently disabled. I'm walking with a cane now. I want what's coming to me. They owe me a settlement for that. I went on a job interview just because I wanted to see how my disability would impact me now that I'm feeling pretty good, because I feel confident with the cane and I feel confident about me doing a good job, because I have been. And first thing they looked at was the cane and asked, "Oh, did you just get hurt?" And then come the million questions of, can you do this? Can you do that? I don't know, your health, blah, blah, blah. So it's not even like they hide it. It's like obvious, and I mean, sure. Many times I've looked at resumes and, you want the perfect person that has no issues, because you don't want a pain in the ass, and a sick person or a disabled person could become a pain in the ass. I hear ya. If I stayed home every time I had a migraine, I would not be working anymore. I go to work in agony and try not to puke until it's time to leave. So, which isn't good either, I don't think. I probably should be home, to be honest with you, but I'm addicted to the business. I've always been a workaholic and whatever. So anyway, if you're an injured worker, a return to work specialist, advocate for one. And try, the lawyers are going to tell you to communicate in writing, but I think that could, worry your employers. So maybe in the beginning, do a lot of talking with your bosses, in person and on the phone, so they can read where you're coming from and they don't have to be worried about, legal shit. Because there's I didn't think about this perspective. And the WSIB person educated me on that today in the meeting, that there's so much legislation and rules and things that can be twisted and whatever, that can make it very difficult for an employer if they say the wrong thing in writing. And so that anytime an employer is approached with something in writing, it automatically puts them on the defensive, which then makes you defensive, and then it blows up into this big thing, or it could happen. So just to avoid that, keep lines of communication open and keep them personal. And that'll go a long way. So I'm learning that when WSIB works, it really works, and it can be the life or death difference in a situation. It can be that, I probably wouldn't still be working if WSIB wasn't there right now to, move things along and help us communicate and coach and whatever. So thank you, WSIB. You guys were wonderful and have been lately. And thank you for indemnifying me for the 5 weeks I was off work. Now we just have to talk about, my non-economic losses, because this ruined my life. This injury literally ruined my quality of life. I don't have a quality of life anymore. It's very slim. I get 3 hours a day of peace. And it sucks in my condition. So I should be indemnified for that. And me getting future jobs or getting promotions. I mean, there's a lot of stigma when you have a brain injury that haunts you, and I want to be indemnified for that as well. So they're not, and I'm working less hours now also, so that's not supposed to happen. So we need to talk about that. So I'm not done with them for sure, but it's good with them right now. And I'm very grateful for where we're at right now. So thank you. So if you're an injured worker, don't be scared. Get them lots of facts. Get your doctors to do their part and to advocate for you, and start bouncing doctors if you have to till you get one that's going to be your advocate. And that's the hard part, is getting a doctor that's on it. And but once you do and everybody's on the same page, life is good. So do it. And work, like I said, I shouldn't be at work. I think I should be at home. But I'm really glad I'm there, and I'm actually fighting to stay. Even though I know I should be at home, I have to get driven because I'm too scared to drive. I can't ride a bus because I wobble. So me working is a big pain in the ass, but I'm addicted to it. So I'm fighting. You might like it too. I didn't want to go back. And then I went back, and I was so glad to be there. So don't be scared of going back. Go back and try it. You might really, it might be good for you. It was good for me.